somebody else was here or somebody else is here. Pretty eerie. It's a very strange feeling, that's for sure. Hello, and welcome to Tim Connolly Drums, the Halloween Spooky Edition. Come along with me, kiddies, because I've got some terrifying tales for you. Tales of terror and horror. All right, so thanks a lot for watching this Halloween special. I have a couple of very interesting tales to tell you. So the first story I'm going to tell you, I am going to tell you this story from a different location. I'm going to tell you this story from a campsite that I was at the other night where I pre-filmed this. I love to camp. I'm a huge camping fan. I actually have a camping channel called Connolly Outdoors, and on my channel I told this story because I did a Halloween camp. And I camp year round, I winter camp, and some people think it's crazy, but I absolutely love winter camping, and I also love horror movies, and I love a good ghost story, so check it out. I wanted to tell you about a story about something that actually happened to me and my family. Not me, but my daughter. My daughter Emma, who you've seen in previous videos. She's only been in a couple of videos, but you've seen her before. And she's 13, but when she was younger, she would always talk about people that she would see in our house that technically didn't belong there. And she knew they were spirits. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I don't believe in ghosts. Don't really believe in spirits. So this story I'm telling you is, even though I'm telling you this story, it's from a skeptic. And I'm not saying my daughter was making this up. She definitely is not that kind of a person that she makes things up for attention or drama, or she's not that typical, girl that tries to draw attention to herself, or boy or girl that tries to draw attention. But she would just tell us, hey, did you see that man that was standing on the stairs? No. Oh. And then she would say, he's wearing, old fashioned clothes and just bizarre things. She drew a picture one time of this little girl that she would see all the time. Now, I would ask her, do these people speak to you? And she said, no, they don't speak to her. They just there. She sees them. And I said, do they see you? And she said that she thinks that they do see her, but they don't speak to her. So anyways, I'll show you guys a picture of the little girl that she drew, because I said, what does this little girl look like? And my daughter's actually a pretty decent drawer, and I think she was only about 7 or 8 at the time. So this is, 5 or 6 years ago. And so she drew the picture. So I'll let you guys check that out. Now, one thing that happened that was really strange, like I said, I never saw anything. I never heard anything. I mean, how does this things go? Things happen in your house. You hear bangs, you hear noises and stuff like that. And it's just, normal stuff that usually happens inside of a house. Even though you're alone and you suddenly hear a bang upstairs, you're like wondering what it is, but something fell, the heat came on, and the heat sometimes makes noise when it comes on when in the winter. Anyways, we were getting a pool installed, and they were digging up the backyard. And the day before the dig, my daughter said to me, oh, I had a dream last night that there was a barn, a dark brown or black colored barn in our backyard. And when they came and dug up the backyard, they found brown and black boards. And one of the guys said, oh, this is old boards that they used to make barns with. And I was like, what? I couldn't believe it, because I remembered her telling us about this barn dream. And I remember asking her, like, well, what happened in this dream? You just saw a barn and that was it? And she said, yes, she just saw a barn
But she did say that she could feel that there were people associated to the barn. So people used to live where we live, but maybe, 100 years ago or something. So we didn't know this. And so this whole thing with the barnwood and her telling us about her dream, I mean, just a very bizarre, strange coincidence that I absolutely have no explanation for. And true story, because I mean, I saw the boards. My son, my wife, everybody saw the boards. And Emma said, that's the boards. Though that's the barn. That's the barn that I saw in my dream. So again, I can't explain how that happened, but she said that she believes that the man, the little girl, and a woman that she would see wandering around our house. I'm actually getting chills, but I think it's because it's freezing cold out here. She said that she would see a man, a woman, and this child wandering around our house, and only she could see them. I never saw anybody, neither did my son, my daughter, any of my other kids. Nobody saw anything, just Emma. And she believes that this family, who were dressed old-fashioned, as she said, they were the people that potentially lived here previously and may have died on the property. We don't know. We don't know. We just know about the barn existing 100% for sure, that there was a barn on the property years and years ago. That's a fact. Whether or not the house is haunted by the people that used to own that barn and potentially live in a house that was on our property, I don't know. It's like the Twilight Zone. Now, what's also interesting is, as she got older, she would see them all the time. She never got scared. Because I would say to her, well, what do you do when you see these people? Are you scared? She said, no, I'm not scared of them. They're not scared of me. It's just, it's almost like we just have this understanding between us. And I found that really bizarre that she never got scared. And she loves horror movies too, this girl. So it's, kind of bizarre. But anyways, she, as she got older, stopped seeing them. So she doesn't see them anymore. So when she turned around 11, 12-ish, she stopped seeing them, and she has not seen or heard anything from them since she was 11 or 12. So I think it's a little kid thing, that little kids potentially can see things that us as unbelieving adults can't see. I don't know. Anyways, that's my story for Halloween.
I have a couple of very interesting tales to tell you. The first one is absolutely musically related. It's not really scary. It's just a story about a band that I used to play in called Sci-Fi Prodigy. The leader of that band, whose name was Patrick Cross, or his name is Patrick Cross, he's still alive. Patrick was a musician / ghost hunter. That was his job. He was a ghost hunter by profession and a part-time professional musician. So he kind of did both. Now, I had never met a ghost hunter, but I got to tell you, I do have a fascination with ghosts and hauntings and spirits and all that sort of thing. It's mainly just a movie fascination. I don't actually go out and do any ghost hunting or anything myself. I really never believed in ghosts. But anyways, Patrick, I got into this band with Patrick, and we were playing a lot of music that was related to Patrick's passion, which was ghost hunting and stuff. So we would play like scary music and Blue Oyster Cult, and occasionally, a very strange thing, we would play Bryan Adams. Now, maybe to some, Bryan Adams is terrifying, but to most people, Bryan Adams doesn't exactly fit in with all the spooky kind of music that we used to do. So it didn't really make any sense. But anyways, whatever. We would play the odd Bryan Adams tune. Didn't make any sense. But okay, so one time we did a gig in Toronto at a beer factory. And the Killer Dwarfs opened up for us. And I think there was another band. I can't remember who it was. But if you guys remember the Killer Dwarfs, they were an 80s Toronto band that had some success. Anyways, we were underprepared for this gig. And the bass player was very difficult. I've talked about him before. He was something was wrong with him. He just wasn't right. He was like an idiot savant. He was a child, but he was a virtuoso bass player. Anyways, we were late getting on because of difficulties with him. You can check out my other video talking about that whole story related to him, that bass player. Anyways, the gig went okay. Didn't go that great, but the guys from the Killer Dwarfs, you know, they were like kind of making fun of Patrick because he didn't have any effects on his guitar, and the band, we didn't really play great that night. Like I said, we were kind of under rehearsed, and it wasn't a great night, so it was kind of scary, terrifying when you're on stage for a musician and you don't play well. And it wasn't like you know, a lot of mistakes or anything. There was just a little bit of confusion maybe with the arrangements. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we just didn't play well. And I can remember Patrick being bombarded by these Killer Dwarfs guys. They weren't very nice to him. I mean, at one point I was like, okay guys, you know, you've had your say, leave him alone kind of thing. And I kind of felt sorry for Patrick at that moment because, like I said, it wasn't a great night for us. But I mean, like I said, I enjoyed playing in the band for the most part. But Patrick was a very, very interesting guy, and he still is an interesting guy. He used to have his own TV show back around, this is 25 years ago I was in the band, and he had a TV show at that time called, I think it was called Ghost Stories or something like that. I'll post a picture of the name. And he had his own TV show, and he was quite famous in the Toronto, Southern Ontario area as a legitimate, respected ghost hunter. He also appeared, and I'm going to show you guys the actual segment that Patrick appeared in. You guys remember the show Kenny versus Spenny? Well, Patrick was in that show on the episode where who could stay in a haunted house the longest. If you remember Kenny versus Spenny, they would always have these competitions against one another. Well, Patrick was the ghost hunter that explained the history of the haunted house that they were going to stay in Toronto, and he gave them a tour of the house and stuff before they spent the night, the two of them, in the house. So Patrick, back in the day, was quite a ghost celebrity.
Here we are at the haunted house that we are about to move into. We have brought with us two renowned paranormal researchers.
So I think we'll take you on a tour of the residence, and we'll find out what's residing in here and what's going to be residing with you as a permanent roommate.
The Simpson House was built for Daniel Bertram Simpson III. He and his young wife Margaret intended to start a large family. They unfortunately couldn't conceive. So Daniel adopted a young girl who they named Lily. Being socialites, they did not want any of their distinguished guests to know of the adoption, so they kept Lily locked in a closet upstairs. For years, Lily would constantly scream and cry and try to escape. She managed to run to the basement, but Margaret found her there and strangled her in a fit of rage and desperation. After realizing what she had done, she hung herself. These tormented spirits still live here today.
Wicked! Very nice.
You're going to get a lot of energy here, a lot of spirits here that are earthbound. They may not necessarily see the house per se. They may be seeing things in their time. Everything might just still be.
Will they see me?
Field. Oh, certainly. Yes.
What if he irritates them? They can't punch me or scratch me or
Of course they can.
Yeah, they can.
But I have no
wanna know.
control over what comes in at night.
The energy changes at night.
Sorry.
Why?
Because
It gets
that's
cooler.
it just does. What
gets
we
cooler
have in the
in the
day and what we have at night is two different things.
I don't like this at all.
This place is wicked!
This place is wicked.
Perfect. Oh my god, look at that.
Oh my god.
Chain thing.
No. It's a brand, and you guys have to make it all scary. It could be anything. It could be something innocent. I think he hired these people to try to scare me. And it's working. I don't like it.
There's one room.
Go ahead.
No, there's nobody here, right?
What they're saying, I don't believe it.
Somebody was just talking right here. It was a female voice for sure, saying something, but I didn't make it out. I just heard it. That was...
They found a dead girl in the basement.
I personally think that these two guys are nuts to be spending the night in there. All that they're going to succeed in doing that is just aggravating the energy and the spirits that are already in the house, and it's just going to, I don't even know how to put it. Basically, there's nothing good that's going to come out of that.
Now, he also had a band of which I was a member, and we used to play. Of course, Halloween was a very popular night, but it's only one night of the year. We certainly did more than one gig, but every gig was always had this whole Halloween, you know, it certainly wasn't a Rob Zombie production because we didn't have that kind of money, but we did up a nice Halloween kind of a vibe. We didn't wear Halloween costumes. Everybody just wore black and, you know, kind of like Ozzy. Kind of dressed up like Ozzy, long black jackets, boots, crosses, you know, upside down pentagrams, all that stuff, you know, the whole Ozzy deal. And everybody in the band dressed up like that, and we played all this scary music, you know, Don't Fear the Reaper and Godzilla and I'm Burning for You and all that sort of stuff. And actually, it was a lot of fun. Now, one time, I did go with Patrick on one of his ghost hunts. So we went to this old farmhouse, and the lady said that she could hear a man talking, crying, wailing, making sounds in her bathroom. And she believed that he was in pain too, because he would be crying and upset and where are you and all this sort of thing, and come and find me. He would make statements or whatever, or she would hear these statements. So somehow she got a hold of Patrick. I really don't know how people get a hold of a ghost hunter, but they got a hold of Patrick, and Patrick came in, and I joined him on this. So he had his entire film crew and everything. Now, I don't have any film of this particular thing. I don't have any film of that, and I don't even know where to find it because this is long before YouTube, and nobody, I guess, posted any of this stuff because I couldn't find it. I did try to find some video, but I couldn't find any. Anyways, it turns out that, 150 years previous, Patrick always did research on these places, there was a man that got shot by an arrow in a wooded area or a area where there was no homes or anything like that. Could have been a field or a wooded area, something like that. And he got shot by accident by his friend. And he got shot in the leg, I believe. And his friend left to go get help. But I guess they didn't make it in time. When he went and got help and came back to the spot, his friend had died he bled out from the arrow wound. So Patrick found this out, and he basically told the lady that he believed it was the spirit of the man who had been shot by the arrow, but there was no house there, of course. And it just so happened that when they built a house, the area where he died was the bathroom area of the house. So that's why she would hear moans and groans and help and all this sort of thing, crying sounds, whatever, coming from the bathroom. That they believed, and Patrick explained to her, they believed that it was his spirit, and he didn't realize that he was dead. So he was in eternal suffering. Now, according to Patrick, he did some kind of ceremony. Now, when I was there, okay, I'm going to tell you guys, when I was there, I did not actually hear anything. I didn't really see anything. I mean, there was a lot of tension because it's Patrick talking to the guy like, I can't remember his name, but Patrick knew his name through his research. Let's just say his name was John. John, are you with us? No response. I didn't hear anything. And then he had one of those little detector machines. You can get an app for that now. But he apparently had a legitimate one, even though it was, 25 years ago. And he would hear things would pop up. If you've ever watched any of those ghost shows, like words pop up, killed, arrow, died, forest, whatever. Like these words kept popping up. Now I have to admit, it was kind of weird that the words that were popping up were related to the story. So that was kind of strange. I never actually heard, he never actually had a conversation with this person. I never heard any wailing, no crying, no nothing. Maybe me a little bit. I think I might have been crying and wailing a little bit. But other than that, I didn't really hear anything. And, you know, I just sat through this whole thing, and we were in there for a long time, trying to get responses and stuff. And Patrick would say that he could hear things, whatever, but honestly, I didn't hear anything. Just my take on it. It was interesting. The history, whether or not it's true, I'm not sure. This is all based on Patrick's research and whatever. But he was an interesting guy. He would also do ghost walks in Burlington, Ontario. And he would take people through various parts of Burlington. Apparently there's a statue there that's haunted. Emma's Back Porch, very famous restaurant in Burlington, apparently is haunted. And he would take people around. I think he still does it to this day. I think he still does it. You can look into Burlington Ghost Walks. Also look up Patrick in on Google search. Just search him up and you can get all the information. Now, as far as playing gigs and stuff, I mean, they were just regular gigs for the most part. It's just that, you know, we would have the dry ice and the lights, and, you know, we really played it up, the whole spooky thing, and we would play spooky music accompanied. We'd also have tracks of spooky music and stuff going around us while we were playing. Patrick would act out sword fight scenes, and there'd be, you know, we'd be playing and Patrick would have actors and dancers and stuff, and they would dance and act out things, and, you know, it was fun. I was in the band for a while. I can't remember exactly how long, but I can remember that after a while we just kind of grew tired of it. I remember almost everybody in the band just saying, you know, enough's enough, and we did our time with him, and then we moved on. Recently I ran into him. I ran into him in Brantford and had a little chat with him. I don't think he is currently active musically, but I do believe he's still doing the ghost hunting and, like I said, the Burlington Walk. So go and research and check out Patrick Cross, the ghost hunter. Well known in Canada. Canadian ghost hunter. See ya. Keep ghost hunting.